Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to Daily Thoughts. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that bell so that you are notified of all my upcoming content. Today, my Daily Thoughts is on why Deconstructing Christianity is so popular today, and what it could mean for Western Christianity. So now let's get into my Daily Thoughts. Over the last decade, a phrase that was once confined to seminaries, theology departments, and niche online discussions has exploded into mainstream culture. That phrase is deconstructing Christianity. Now, for me, as a member of Generation Jones, this is not a thing. But millions of people, particularly millennials and Generation Z, are publicly questioning, reevaluating, and sometimes abandoning beliefs they once held dear. Social media platforms are filled with former pastors, worship leaders, ministry workers, and lifelong church members sharing their deconstruction journeys. Podcasts dedicated to religious doubt attract millions of listeners. Books discussing faith transitions frequently become bestsellers. But what exactly is happening? Why are so many people deconstructing Christianity? Is this merely another cultural trend, or is it evidence of a major shift within Western society? And perhaps more importantly, what does it mean to the future of Christianity in America and Europe? Let's explore this. First of all, what is deconstruction? The term deconstruction originally comes from philosophy, particularly the work of French philosopher Jacques Derrida. However, when most people use the term today, they aren't referring to philosophy. In Christian circles, deconstruction generally means examining and questioning beliefs that were previously accepted without challenge. For some individuals, deconstruction means redefining and strengthening their faith. For others, it leads to leaving organized religion entirely. And for many, it falls somewhere in between. They still may believe in God, but reject certain church traditions, doctrines, or cultural practices. This is one reason the topic generates so much debate. The same word can describe very different spiritual journeys. So why is deconstruction becoming so popular? First of all, the internet has changed everything. For most of history, people's religious beliefs were largely shaped by their family, local church, and community. But today, anyone with a smartphone can access thousands of viewpoints in seconds. A teenager in Texas can watch debates between atheists, Christians, historians, scientists, rabbis, and Muslim scholars before breakfast. The internet has made information and criticism more accessible than ever. Questions that previous generations may never have encountered are now impossible to avoid. And for many people, exposure to alternative perspectives sparks deeper examination of their beliefs. Another factor, declining trust in institutions. Religious institutions are facing the same challenges affecting governments, corporations, media organizations, and universities. Public trust is declining. Numerous scandals involving church leaders have shaken confidence in religious organizations. Stories involving financial misconduct, abuse cover-ups, political entanglements, and hypocrisy have caused many people to question not only leaders, but entire institutions. And for younger generations especially, authenticity often matters more than authority. Simply saying, believe this because the church teaches this, is no longer persuasive to many people. Another factor, political polarization. In the United States, Christianity has become deeply intertwined with politics, and many people struggle to separate faith from political identity. Some believers feel Christianity has become overly aligned with particular political movements. Others feel churches have compromised biblical teachings to accommodate cultural pressure, and as a result, individuals, both the left and right, often find themselves questioning religious institutions. Ironically, people with very different political views may arrive at the same destination: deconstruction. Another factor is generational shifts. Millennials and Gen Z grew up during an era of rapid cultural change. These generations tend to value transparency, inclusion, personal authenticity, and open dialogue. Many were taught not to question authority structures, yet they came of age in a culture that encouraged asking difficult questions. When they encounter perceived contradictions between church teachings and lived experience, many feel compelled to investigate further. And for some, deconstruction is less about rejecting faith and more about seeking honesty. Another major factor is the growing focus on mental health. Many individuals have begun reevaluating religious experiences through psychological lenses. Some describe experiences involving shame, fear, legalism, or spiritual manipulation. The rise of trauma-informed discussion has encouraged people to revisit childhood religious experiences and ask whether those experiences were spiritually healthy. This has led to increased conversations about what some call religious trauma. An important point often overlooked: not everyone sees deconstruction as a threat. Many pastors and theologians argue that questioning beliefs can actually strengthen faith. After all, the Bible contains numerous examples of people wrestling with doubt. Figures such as Job, David, Jeremiah, Thomas, and even the apostles asked difficult questions. Supporters argue that genuine faith should be able to withstand scrutiny. And from this perspective, deconstruction can remove cultural traditions, misconceptions, and unhealthy teachings while preserving authentic belief. In other words, some see deconstruction as renovation rather than demolition. But why are so many Christians concerned? At the same time, many church leaders express serious concerns. They argue that deconstruction sometimes becomes less about examining beliefs and more about abandoning faith altogether. Some worry that social media has transformed spiritual questioning into a trend. Others believe many deconstruction influencers present a version of Christianity that is easier to reject than historical Christian doctrine. And critics also note that deconstruction often focuses on dismantling beliefs without providing a clear framework for rebuilding them. And as a result, some individuals report feelings of spiritual confusion, loneliness, and uncertainty after leaving faith communities. So what does all this mean for Western Christianity? The answer might be more complex than many people realize. One possibility is continued decline. Church attendance has been declining across the Western world for decades. If current trends continue, Christianity may become less culturally dominant in America and Europe, and future generations may increasingly identify as religiously unaffiliated. And some researchers have already described this group as the nones, people who claim no religious affiliation. As this trend accelerates, Christianity's influence on public life may continue to diminish. Another possibility, a purified church. Some Christian leaders view the trend differently. They believe cultural Christianity is fading while committed Christianity remains. In previous generations, church attendance was often connected to social expectations. Today, identifying as Christian may carry fewer cultural advantages. As a result, churches may become smaller but more intentional. Supporters of this view argue that Christianity has historically grown strongest during periods of challenge rather than comfort. A third possibility is a Reformation-like moment. History shows that Christianity has experienced major periods of transformation before. The Protestant Reformation dramatically reshaped the Christian world. The Great Awakening transformed religious life in America. The rise of Pentecostalism altered global Christianity during the 20th century. Some scholars believe modern deconstruction could represent another period of reconstructing. Rather than disappearing, Christianity may be evolving into forms that resonate differently with future generations. Let's look at the global picture. One fact often overlooked in Western discussions. While Christianity is declining in some Western countries, it continues growing rapidly in parts of Africa, Asia, and Latin America. And the center of global Christianity is shifting. A century ago, Europe and North America dominated Christian demographics. Today, the fastest growing Christian populations are found outside of the West. And this means Western Christianity may be declining in influence while global Christianity continues expanding. The future of Christianity may look less European and more international than ever before. To me, this is a full circle moment because whether many Western Christians realize it or not, Christianity started on the continent of Africa. Only they didn't call themselves Christians. They called themselves the Way. It was called Christianity when it mixed with the paganism of Europe and was Roman Catholicism before the Protestant Reformation. And while one views deconstruction positively or negatively, it's really impossible for us to ignore its impact. At its core, the movement reflects deeper cultural questions about authority, authenticity, truth, identity, and belonging. For some, deconstruction leads away from Christianity. For others, it leads to a deeper and more thoughtful faith. And for many, the journey remains unfinished. But what is clear is that Western Christianity is standing at a crossroad. The churches that thrive in the coming decades may be those willing to engage difficult questions honestly while remaining rooted in their core convictions. Because today's generation, they're not simply asking what Christians believe. They're asking why they believe it. And how Christianity answers that question may help shape its future for generations to come. Now, if you found this discussion thought-provoking, let me know your perspective in the comments. Are we witnessing the decline of Western Christianity or the beginning of its next transformation? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Also, I would love it if you would go ahead and follow me in my other social media. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram as DC the Purple Diva, on X as Purple Diva Den, and check out my other YouTube channel, The Purple Diva Den, where I do spoken word. I'll see you guys in the next one, and until then, peace and blessings from the West Side.